Hello, my name is Mónica Feliú-Mójer, and I am a program manager with iBiology and the vice director of Ciencia, Puerto Rico. And today I'm going to talk about how to network effectively to help you build connections to advance your career. So what is networking? You may think that networking is all about meeting a bunch of people and collecting a bunch of business cards, but that's not the reality. Networking is about building meaningful connections. It's about building relationships that can help advance your career and for your professional success. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 70% of all jobs are found through networking. So being able to network effectively, it's going to be pretty important for your next career move. Networking is not just important for finding a job, but also for finding mentors, advisors, sponsors, potential collaborators, and also for other career opportunities like speaking engagements, workshops, courses, etc. So something that is really important for you to network effectively is to have an elevator pitch. Maybe you've heard about the elevator pitch, and what this is a short statement about 30 to 60 seconds that you can tell somebody literally while you're riding an elevator. And there are three big questions that you answer when you're crafting an elevator pitch, or you should be thinking about when you're crafting your elevator pitch. Who are you? What do you do? And what is your goal? And who are you and what do you do? It's not just about saying your name and your role and what institution you're in, but really is about what makes you unique. How do you bring value to a company, to an institution, to a group? And then your goal should not just be, I want to find a job, or I want to find somebody who is doing, I don't know, experiments in neuroscience. You want to be specific. You want to be as specific as possible so that the person that you're talking to can help you out. Something that is really important to think about when you're crafting your elevator pitch is to eliminate jargon. You want to keep it simple. You want it to be accessible to somebody who's not a specialist, because probably most people that you're going to talk to are not going to be in your field, or they're not even going to be a scientist. So it's really important that you think about an elevator pitch that is jargon-free. Also think about who you're talking to. The elevator pitch is not just about you and who you are and what your goal is, but really it's who you're talking to. You need to think about who you're talking to, because you're going to have to change what you say depending on who you're talking to. What do they do? Where are they based? That is something that is really important to think about when you're doing an elevator pitch. Also critical, it's that you practice. Practice in front of a mirror with your friends, with your colleagues. You need to know what you want to say, because you're trying to get all of this information in a short amount of time. So you don't need to have a script that you're just going to spill out, but really you need to know exactly what you want to say. What are the key messages that you want people to take away when they talk to you? Some practical strategies for networking. It's really important that you are yourself. You want to build a connection with someone else, so you want to be authentic. You want to be genuine. Also, you want to be prepared. As I said, you need to have an elevator pitch ready. You need to practice. So you need to be ready when you're going to an event, know what you want to say, maybe know what kind of person you want to talk to. Something important and part of being ready is having business cards. So a business card is not just a way to give people your contact information, but it's also a way for people to remember you and for you to remember people. Something that you can do, for example, when you're at an event, is write in the back of a card, where did you meet this person? What was memorable about them? So that when you follow up with them with an email or maybe a phone call, you will know what exactly to refer to, so that they know where they met you and what exactly do you want. Also, it's important to be reciprocal. Networking and relationships in general, it's not just about one person, but it's about the two of you. So it's important that when you're talking to people, listen to them. Think about how you can help them, not just how they can help you. You have to know your style. Some people think that networking is just for extroverts. That is not true. Networking is for everybody. So if you are an introvert and you know that, then that's important because that is going to help you think about strategies that can help you network. If you're at a conference, then you don't want to talk to a bunch of people, but you need to know what your style is so that you can network efficiently. You also need to think about how to be memorable. If you're at an event, you meet a lot of people. And so how are you going to make sure that that person who could get you the next job, how are you going to make sure that they remember you? It could be your name, it could be the context, it could be something you say, but you have to think about how to be memorable. And again, you need to have a plan. You need to be ready. You need to be prepared. And so if you're going to an event, find out who's going to be there. Maybe email them ahead of time and say, we're going to be at this event. Let's have lunch. I would like to talk to you. Something about networking, it's not just about building relationships, but really building this group of people. You want to build this network, a healthy network that you can reach out to when you need help. And so a network is not just about who you know, but who you want to know. So who's in your network? There are different types of people in your network. Some are your immediate contacts, the people you work with, your advisor, people in your lab. There's also contacts in your community, so people in your field or at your institution. Your network also contains non-professional contacts, so people that maybe you know socially, from your community, from your church. So it's people that you know outside of work context, but just because you don't work with them or know them professionally, that doesn't mean that they can't help you. And then there's also secondary contacts. So they're the friends of your friends or the colleagues of your colleagues, people maybe you don't know in person, but that you could reach out to through who you know in your network. And so asking the people that you know, it's a really important way, it's a key way to help you build up your network, to find the people that you need to help you out. Joining professional societies is another great strategy to build and expand your network because there are people that have similar interests, that know about resources in your field, and that can help you out. Of course, attending events, conferences, talks, and so on, that's a great way to meet people. Another great way to meet people is to invite them to give a talk at your institution. Maybe there is a researcher whose work you admire, and maybe you're looking at their lab for a postdoc. So invite them over. Invite them to give a talk at your school. That is a great way to connect with them. Another great way to expand your network, particularly beyond your field of expertise, is to volunteer. So if you say you want to go into a non-academic career, volunteering is a great way to meet people that are doing careers that you're interested in, besides developing some really important skills. Let's talk about networking online a little bit. There's lots of platforms out there which you can use to connect with people, and then whom you can follow up to then meet face-to-face. But right now, in a connected world, it's really important for you to have an online professional presence to network. So when you're thinking about networking online, which platforms do you want to use? Which are the pros and cons of each of these platforms? How are they used in your field? How are they used by your colleagues? What are the rules of engagement? Each platform has its unique advantages. So when you're thinking about networking online, it's important that you consider those. So email is probably the most commonly used online networking tool. When you follow up with people after meeting them, you'll probably send them an email. When somebody's introducing you to a person that you don't know, they'll probably connect you through email. So it's really, really important that you learn how to use email effectively to establish those connections. Another commonly used tool is LinkedIn. LinkedIn was built as a professional networking tool. So a lot of the features, you can basically put an online resume up in LinkedIn. It's a way to connect with people, to look at jobs. So obviously LinkedIn is very different from email, and it's important to know how you could use it differently from other platforms and to your advantage. And finally, there's Twitter. think a lot of people don't think about Twitter as a professional networking tool, but it really is. Twitter is fast-paced. There's a lot of information out there, but it's a really great way to connect with specific communities, with your niche communities, to connect with other experts, and to put yourself out there as an expert. So I would invite you to look at Twitter and how you could use it as a professional development tool. And so just to summarize, networking is really key to your professional success. So it is really, really important that you know how to do it effectively so that you can build those solid connections that could help you climb up the professional ladder. It's important to be prepared when you're networking. Have your elevator pitch ready. Know what your goals are. Know who you want to connect with. Know who's in your network, and know who you want to bring into your network. And finally, it is really, really important that you practice. Networking doesn't come natural to most of us. So it's important that you just take the plunge. Go do it. Practice your elevator pitch with people. Put yourself out there at meetings and events. Put yourself out there online and just network. Thank you.